Alrighty. Hey folks, how we doing on this Friday? We made it to the end of the work week. We are so close to the weekend. Thanks for taking the time to hop on and talk about the weather, taking a look at your weekend. So we'll talk a little bit more about this, especially coming up tonight at 8. So if you haven't been tuning in all evening, we are here at 8 o'clock tonight, as well as after the football game later on this evening. So make sure you tune in. It's a really big week, especially because we are getting a little bit of a break from all of the rain with those afternoon showers and thunderstorms that we've been seeing quite literally from 2 p.m. until 8 p.m. Getting a little bit of a brief break from that, but also Sunday, it's a big day. It's June 1st. We'll talk about why it is so big coming up in a little bit. But if anyone has any comments, anything that they would like a little forecast for, taking a look at the weekend, of course, we'll have your amusement park forecast coming up in a little bit. But what I do want to take a look at right now is our storm tracker radar, because looking at what we're seeing out there right now, overall it was definitely stormy right off the bat this morning. I woke up to a couple rumbles of thunder, but now things are quiet. Things aren't too bad out there at the moment. So what we're seeing here, just a little bit of showers making their way across Polk County. Not really even seeing any thunder associated with that or lightning. So that's just going to continue to make its way across the Florida Turnpike as we head into a little bit later on. So here's what we're looking at right here. A little bit of a shower moving just over Lake Wales over into Osceola County. This is what's going to make its way over the Turnpike within the next couple of minutes. A little bit of a shower making its way over towards Melbourne as well. A couple more showers, maybe trying to sneak their way into Sumter County and over into Lake County. These are just these little itty bitty showers of what we're seeing through the rest of the evening. So earlier on today, what we did see, a couple of storm reports. This has been something that's been pretty big over the past couple of days, is that we've been seeing a lot of hail reports, lots of wind reports, but the past couple of hours, it's really been about the wind, and this is something that we're going to see as we take a look at the start of the weekend. So you can see this cluster of wind reports from earlier on this morning. We can see from here a 45 mile per hour gust right at the Kennedy Space Center, just on the outlets of the Kennedy Space Center, just on the very outskirts of those inlets, 40 mile per hour gust. But I do want to shake this in right here. You can see a wind gust reported at Orlando International Airport of 63 miles per hour. But then you can also see this exclamation point here. There was a severe thunderstorm warning over the airport, and that definitely caused some backups earlier on. They were in a ground stop for quite a while, and I'm not sure if they're still in a ground stop, but just over the Orange County, Osceola County border, there was a report of a funnel cloud. So with that, we just saw that little bit of rotation, just enough that there was that very quick funnel cloud formation, but it did not reach the ground, so it was not a tornado. So good news right there. It didn't actually get intense enough where it did reach the ground, so that was good news right there. But overall, things are much more quiet as we take a look outside. Beautiful camera on our SunTrust North camera, as well as our Titusville camera as well. So let's pop those up. Here's our Titusville camera. Beautiful sunset now that we're starting to see everything calm down a little bit more. Here's our Daytona Beach camera. Still seeing a little bit of rough clouds off in the distance, but really nothing too big there either. I do want to pull in our Hyatt cam and our SunTrust North camera as well, because that looks like a beautiful sunset of what we're seeing. And we're going to be in for some really nice sunsets over the next couple of days as well. And we'll talk about why in a little bit. But this is something that you'll definitely want to get the cameras out for. We can see that sun starting to set across our SunTrust North camera, looking over downtown Orlando. Things much more quieter than what we were seeing earlier on. And as we do take a look also at our Hyatt camera, this is facing back towards Epic Universe. Yes. So what we're seeing right here, a couple of thunderstorms off in the distance, but really nothing too big there either. So beautiful view out there this evening, but something that we're really going to be watching through the overnight tonight is this cold front right here. So really, speaking of more just what we normally see in the seasons, this is something that we normally see in the fall, not necessarily the summer. So when we see those cold fronts, it definitely brings in some much cooler air, but it also gives us beautiful, beautiful blue skies out there as well. So what we're going to be seeing with this right here, we've been seeing those afternoon scattered showers and thunderstorms popping up during the heat of the day and then dying down through the afternoon and evening. What we are really going to be seeing after this cold front moves through is a little bit of a break from those everyday average scattered showers and thunderstorms, and then we're going to see those temperatures a little bit cooler than average, taking a look at the start of June. So this is something that we're going to see through the rest of the weekend. However, you can see some of those storms really starting to pop up all along that line. If you look carefully, there was some severe thunderstorm warnings. You can also see a severe thunderstorm warning active in the Panhandle. And as this continues to make its way through Orlando, this is what's going to bring us in some more storms as we head through tomorrow morning, as well as more storms as we take a look through your Saturday afternoon. So something that we're going to be watching as this entire boundary really pushes through, that's what's going to be firing off some thunderstorms for sure. So taking a look at your weather impact day, tomorrow is a weather impact day, mainly impacting tomorrow morning. So as we do take a look really through your Saturday morning, if you're in the Gainesville area, if you're planning on heading to the theme parks tomorrow morning, if you're closer to the Orlando area, you will definitely need to be careful for sure. But really the main threats, downpours and very gusty winds is going to be the two main threats of what we're going to be seeing tomorrow. So let's actually talk a little bit of timing, because I have that graphic right here. So this is really an overnight into the very early mornings of your Saturday as we take a look from Gainesville down to Orlando, areas across Yeehaw Junction. This is what's in Melbourne, Cocoa Beach area. This is going to be a mid-morning into the early afternoon event for you. So Gainesville down to Ocala, Palm Coast, a couple of very scattered storms as that frontal boundary continues to make its way through. You're going to be the first to be impacted from about 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. Taking a look from Daytona Beach over to Spring Hill down to Lakeland. Basically areas, if you're north of the I-4 corridor and north of the Kennedy Space Center, they're going to be impacted from about 10 a.m. To the areas especially down towards Cape Canaveral. So we're going to be seeing that from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., going to be seeing Kissimmee South. So we are going to monitor that as we head through the overnight tonight. TJ and I are actually going to be doing a little bit of a handoff through the overnight. So that's something that we're going to be focusing in on there. Something that's super helpful through especially the past couple of days. We've been getting a lot of weather information over the past couple of days. So our Fox weather alert system, this kind of keeps everything straight and also gives us a really good idea and an easy way to figure out when those watches and warnings are going to be ending. So this is a really good tool, especially when we start to see back-to-back-to-back warnings come up. So that's something that's going to be helpful as we head through the next couple of hours as we're tracking that cold front. So again, something really that we normally don't see during this time of year. Normally this is like a fall thing that we see. So it's something that's definitely a little out of the ordinary, but not completely out there. So as we do take a look really at the timing, and this is our Fox model right here, we're going to be seeing areas across Gainesville starting to get impacted between 2, 3, 4 a.m. Areas down to Daytona, you'll probably start to get impacted about 6 a.m. Those storms, as we start to pick up, we start to see that sunrise, that atmospheric energy starting to interact with just the energy picking up from the land. We can see a little bit of that wind energy really picking up as well from Daytona all the way down to Spring Hill. So as we're starting to get down towards the Orlando area at about 8 a.m., we could see some thunderstorms really start to pick up. And something that we're going to really monitor as well is this bowing action. So quite literally like a bow and arrow, when we see a line of storms, and we saw this today, kind of create that outward sea, that's when we really see those winds pick up. And we mentioned earlier that Orlando International Airport says that the earlier on today, they got a report of almost 60-mile-per-hour winds, and that's because those storms earlier that were popping up kind of created this bow shape. So if we see those storms kind of create this shape right here, That means that areas across Orlando, Celebration, Auburndale, and Cocoa Beach, and also Cape Canaveral, there's going to be a lot of wind, and there's going to be a lot of wind reports of severe thunderstorm strength winds picking up, especially along this area as we start to see all of these storms start to pick up. So hey Joy, yeah, definitely going to be a little bit of an uh-oh moment through the overnight tonight, but we'll be with you with that. TJ and I got you covered for sure. And Kathy, really good advice there as well. So as we take a look towards the I-4 quarter, this is about 9 a.m. tomorrow. Let me get rid of my little doodle here. There we go. Once we start to get more towards the I-4 quarter, the sun is up. We're starting to see that energy build up in the atmosphere a little bit more. This is where we can see a couple of pockets where we may see a stronger storm thrown in there. We can see those little bits of magenta starting to build up in Polk County along the coastline near the St. Johns River, closer to the Atlantic coast. So that's something that we're going to be watching as we really start to see that energy kind of start to build up from the day. Now, as we head towards southern Brevard County, we still are going to be seeing some showers, scattered showers, areas north of I-4 as we head into about the noon hour, and then things really start to fizzle as we head into the early afternoon. So if you do have any plans Saturday night, planning on visiting the theme park Saturday night, any dinner plans, things look good to go, but you will definitely notice a cooler temperature for sure taking a look at Saturday. So also taking a look Saturday night, things are pretty much clear. Maybe a scattered shower, because if I zoom out a little bit, you can still see some storms just kind of stalling off to the south. We may see a couple of very scattered storms as we head through your Saturday night. But taking a look into Sunday, really just keeping an eye on some very, very scattered showers. So if you do have any outdoor plans on Sunday, things are looking great for any outdoor plans there. So here's your weekend overall, keeping an eye on scattered storms on Saturday, more scattered showers on Sunday, but really just seeing those rain chances significantly decrease as we take a look at your Sunday afternoon. So we talked about timings, so let's talk about threats. With those storm threats, we are under a level 1 out of 5 for severe weather for the next couple of days. So through the day today, we were under that level 1. Tomorrow morning, areas especially south of I-4 are going to be under that level 1 out of 5. So seeing a severe thunderstorm warning or multiple severe thunderstorm warnings like we saw today, not out of the question. Also going to be seeing the possibility of some hail as well as some flash flooding. However, a little bit of a switch up from what we have been seeing the past couple of days. So when we have been seeing those thunderstorms really pick up in the afternoon, wind and hail threats are really the number 1 and 2. But because tomorrow and headed into late tonight, early tomorrow morning, wind and flash flooding because of the torrential downpours that we're going to be expecting. That's what's going to be the two main threats as we head through the day tomorrow. Maybe seeing a couple of hail pockets, but really could be seeing some torrential rain and very, very strong winds, especially if we do start to see those storms bow out like we were talking about earlier. We did mention that there was a funnel cloud that was reported earlier on today. Tornado not out of the question. There is a possibility of a very brief tornado to spin up tomorrow just because of the momentum of the storm. But really, it's very, very low. It's not zero. However, it is very low. But really, these threats definitely take precedent over a tornado for sure. So we have about 10 minutes left. So again, if you're just joining us, tomorrow is a weather impact day. Really seeing that timing from about 6 a.m. if you're in the Gainesville area down to the Daytona Beach area. You're probably going to be seeing that rain somewhere between 2 a.m. if you're in the Gainesville area, closer to about 6 a.m. if you're in the Daytona Beach area. We'll play this out one more time if you're just joining us. So seeing that line come down if you're in Gainesville, possibly seeing that heavy, heavy rain at about 3, 4 in the morning. Daytona starting to see that between 6 and 7. Areas across Orlando. Key in that time right there, this is 9:30, seeing the immense rain really starting to move in. If you're planning on rope dropping any of the theme parks, you are going to be starting off your day with a lot of rain. But by the time we hit about 11 o'clock noon, we should start to see things mellow out. Maybe just a couple more of those showers as we head into about the 2 o'clock hour before we are really home free and we see those much cooler temperatures. Something that I do want to pull up is our temperature chart for tomorrow, because you will see when that cooler air really starts to kick in. We start off those temperatures very mild in the 70s. We only get to temperatures throughout the mid 80s tomorrow, so we're not really seeing that big temperature shift before we really start to cool down, and that's because of that cooler air really starting to move in as we head through your Saturday afternoon. Alrighty. So that's what our timing is. Not seeing any new comments on our Facebook page. We are also live on YouTube. And I'm not seeing any comments there either. Let me get to the right spot to make sure we're all set. Okay, it doesn't look like there's any comments on our YouTube channel either. But again, thanks folks for joining us on this Friday. Okay, so later on this week, we are going to be seeing the start of hurricane season. So we've been talking about this for a while, so let's switch gears just a little bit. We had our hurricane special on Memorial Day. It was so much fun to shoot. We had some really good stories, so make sure if you haven't seen that, go to our Fox Local app and also make sure you watch that, because it's a great tool in order to get prepared. There's also some life-saving lessons to not only help you out a little bit as we head through the next couple of days. So taking a look at Sunday. Sunday is the first day of hurricane season, so I do want to take a little bit of time as we break down what we could possibly see in the month of June. So taking a look, this is climatologically where we could see the key activities of the start of any tropical activity across the Atlantic. Ultimately, reason why, the warmest water right now is in the Gulf and lingering just off the East Coast. Example, Beryl from last year. It formed areas across Puerto Rico and then quite literally swept into the Gulf and impacted and slammed areas across the Gulf Coast of Texas. So that's what we're seeing right there. If we do have the chance of seeing some tropical activity, it's going to be here. So just looking at a couple of the models, not seeing anything too prevalent, but especially once we get into about the mid-June area, we do see this 20% chance of development. Taking a look more towards the second or third week of June, we could see something maybe spin up as we head into the middle of June, which is when we do usually start to see those storms pick up. So if you were curious, taking a look at more of just the Atlantic climatology, this is on average, and this goes back until 1850, I believe, is when we saw this data start to come in. So our average date of seeing the first named storm is about June 20th, which puts us right at about where we could be expecting a low chance of seeing some tropical activity develop. Once we head into middle of July, this is when we really start to see more of these back-to-back-to-back storms, with, of course, being the peak of hurricane season within the first 2 weeks of September. So starting off slow, but things are going to pick up very quick once we head into hurricane season. So the biggest piece of advice that I give as we head into any hurricane season, make sure you're following your news sources, make sure you're following the National Hurricane Center, your local National Weather Service office. That is how you're going to get the most up-to-date information, because again, lots of information comes in a very short amount of time, especially when we're talking about an active hurricane situation. So just make sure you are staying up to date with the latest information by, again, following your local news outlets, following your local National Weather Service office, as well as the National Hurricane Center, to make sure you are staying up to date with the latest information. So great question right here. Is there going to be a dust storm? Not quite, but something very similar too. So off the Saharan desert, there's a lot of dust that gets swept up in the air, carried over the Atlantic, and then it kind of just settles in across the Gulf. So over the next couple of days, you will definitely notice those brilliant blue skies that we have here in Florida are going to look a little bit more milky. So it's not necessarily going to be as brilliant blue as what we were seeing in the past couple of days. But overall, you're going to also notice that probably the air quality is going to be a little bit different. If you were watching our Florida Live earlier on today, I sneezed on air. Yeah, my allergies have been so bad the past couple of days. So just make sure if you have any respiratory conditions, allergy sufferers like me, make sure you're kind of getting a little bit of a jump ahead, because as we take a look through next week, we are going to see all of that big plume of dust that's just kind of sitting over the Atlantic right now slowly try to move up into Florida. So this is Wednesday, June 4th. starting to see some of the lighter bits of those dust particles move in. And then once we head into Sunday, it's almost going to get caught up in like this little vortex right here. And we're going to see some of that thicker dust start to impact our region as we head into about the June 8th, June 9th, June 10th area. But not all bad things. I know definitely allergies can suck, but overall, this is what's going to create some gorgeous sunsets and sunrises over the next couple of days. So something that you might need to be prepared for is not only the lowering of that air quality because of this dust, but something that you'll also just need to consider. Again, I already have allergy medication on standby. Make sure you're prepared for that as well, because definitely you will be able to notice it in the air for sure. It'll be a little bit more hazy, but again, this also just bends the light in just a beautiful way that we see gorgeous Florida sunrises and sunsets, and we'll see that all next week. So if you do have any photos, definitely send them to us for sure. Hi, William from New York. Thanks for tuning in. And then also I see right here, Brittany asking about next week's weather. So let's just get right to it. Here's your forecast for next week. This is your 7-day forecast. Taking a look, we're slowly starting to fall back into that rainy season forecast of seeing those afternoon daily scattered showers and thunderstorms. Temperatures are going to be back in the low 90s. It's Florida in June. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. There's going to be thunderstorms popping up during the heat of the day, so from about 2 to 6 o'clock, seeing those widespread thunderstorms. And that's pretty much the rinse and repeat forecast every single day for the next week. Alrighty, folks. So that is about it. That's your forecast for the next couple of days. We covered hurricane season. We covered the timing once again for tomorrow. So just make sure keep your weather alerts on through the overnight tonight. If there is anything, we will definitely let you know. Download the Fox Local app because you get your weather alerts through there as well. Just make sure you are staying weather aware. Again, if you're from the Gainesville down to Orlando area, not looking at anything too crazy. Really, it's going to be a wind and rain event. So big threats are going to be flooding as well as the possibility of some damaging winds. So again, just make sure you are sticking with us. Again, staying up to date with the latest weather information because we could see a lot of information come in all at once as we are covering these storms tomorrow. So thanks everyone again for tuning in on this Friday. Hope everyone has a wonderful and safe weekend, and especially tomorrow morning, definitely be careful out there if you're planning on hitting the roads, because there is nothing like trying to drive in a Florida thunderstorm on I-4, and that's something that we're going to be doing all day tomorrow. So just make sure, again, you're being careful, staying safe out there, and making sure you're sticking with us here with the Fox 35 Storm Team. I got you through the rest of the overnight tonight. TJ has you tomorrow morning, and then I'll be back with you for your Saturday night forecast. Have a great night, everybody.